Hello, Next community, and Tracy. How's everybody doing this evening? So, Tracy, I wanted to show you the little screensaver I created for you. And so we have a couple apps that I was using. Let's go into local library. And if we go to our Grooverlabs folder, and I um, open up the images that I used for the tribute to Curt here. Um, I've got it set to open a couple different apps, and using Next, it only had a 2 GB limit. So we're so used to, taking images with our phones. It can be up to 20 megabit, and you bring them into Next, and it just, it'll take it 10 minutes to decode that. So what I did outside of Next, when the images come in, I use the preview app, and I reduce the size, and to bring them into Next, um, using the previous app, I set up a little NFS file share. And with the latest version of Previous, it'll actually do it all for you. So you don't have to do it manually anymore, which is really nice. But all these files here are actually on my Mac Mini. So it allows me to bring anything that's on the Mac Mini and simply drag and drop it over to the Next, which is pretty cool. So all of the images that were, Dropboxed or emailed or texted to me, I can then just drag and drop them into our previous 68K emulator running NeXTSTEP. And so once I have those images here with Tiffany, it lets you go in and you can change the file size, right? So it'll tell you down here what's going on with the image, which is kind of neat. So it gives you all the details, and you'll want to look down here. So it'll say, the amount used by the image is, 502 kilobit, which is pretty reasonable file size to use for screensaver. And so in Toy Viewer, it's the free utility. It's pretty neat. You can go to File, and it lets you take your JPEG images or your PNGs, and for screensavers, you want to save them as TIFFs. And not many people know that Next was the first screensavers were invented on NeXTSTEP, and I can show you actually the very first screensaver. See if I can bring that up real quick. Hopefully it's loaded on here. So if we go, in this case, to backspace, and you can actually write your own apps here, right? So let's see if I can pick a screensaver. Let's go to settings, and I'll show you the very first screensaver, which was space. Okay, and if we do the screensaver, it takes it over. So the reason that they wanted to do space was it reminded them of Star Trek. So once they had that going, here's Space 2, right? And so it looks like, you can even write your own modules, which is pretty fun. I did a few of them here, and they turned out pretty cool. So, if you go into Next Developer Tools, and I don't have the tools loaded on this particular partition. If you guys ever want to get into it, just let me know, and I can set it up with the dev tools. But there are examples, and then it gives you instructions on how to convert and create backspace modules as one of the tutorials. So it's kind of fun. and I did a bunch of videos on that earlier in the year. So what I did here for Tracy is we're doing a little tribute system, and Curt was one of the developers for Lotus Improv. And so they have Grooverlabs in Wichita, and Tracy brought his equipment out, and I was able to go through it here a couple days ago and get everything working. And I thought, well, for the display as a tribute to him, we could do a screensaver. And so once I converted the JPEGs to TIFFs, there's a little application here called Metro Tools, which is, it reminds me of the Metro sexual name. But at any rate, we can now use Metro Tools and free as a hobbyist license. I got permission from the original author. And within it, there's a slideshow feature, right? And so I'll show you how easy it is to add slides. See how my demo goes today. So in this case, these are all the slides that I've added. So you just hold down the Shift key, and I'm going to delete them. I hope I don't mess this up. And then we're going to go back to my local library here, directory. And I created a local Grooverlabs folder, right? And so now if we want to add TIFFs back in for our screensavers, and they could be any TIFFs that you have, we just go to local library, Grooverlabs, and you'll see down here that the JPEGs are here and TIFFs, but you'll see just the TIFFs come up when you add them. So same idea, you click one, hold down Shift, right, and you can pick them all, click OK, and they're going to add them to the screensaver. Within the screensaver, you have a couple different choices. I could show you that real quick. So don't clear when you do the screensaver. It does this. It'll kind of give it a mosaic, and it won't clear the image. And you can add up to, the limits of this app, I think, are about 15 or 20 images. You want to keep them small in size, just, the maybe 500 kilobit would be the maximum. And within Tiffany, when you open a file, it'll tell you the actual size. So there's no password set, so if that comes up, you can just click OK. Now, I like dissolve, so you can click dissolve, and then you unclick don't clear, and then when you do the screensaver, I must have clicked screen lock. So you can actually do it so no one can log in. So you guys might want to put a password on, and then you can do screen lock. But I'm not one for locking screens. Because if you forget the password, then it can be a mess. So this is the dissolve. And I think it looks pretty good. And so Tristan created, this will be the last thing I show you. It's really late here. And so I'm going to go ahead and quit Metro Tools. I can show you where it shows you the kilobits here. If I go down to TIFFs and click TIFF, right, here we go. And then there's this inspector over here. So you'll see where it says pixels, the height. And so this one is about 450 kilobit. And you can see how quickly it pops up. I believe this image when it came in was 20 megabit. which is way too big for NeXTSTEP. It literally took 20 minutes to decode it the first time, and I figured, oh wow, I better go back. So I did it outside of NeXTSTEP and reduced the size, and then brought it back in, reduced it further, and with the help of Tiffany and Toy Viewer, I was able to get it to where the images work well. So that being said, let's see if we can now log out here, if I can actually see my cursor, and I'll show you the little, thanks to Tristan, he created a little custom login panel here. And I had to redo the size. I actually edited the next operating system software. I am not going to show people how to do that, because if you mess up, you log back out, you can't log in, you have to reinstall everything, and it would just be a mess for me. In addition to that, there's a thing called the Next Halo, where the Next logo bounces around the screen. So I'll show you how it looks when we log out here. So we go up here, we're going to log out. I'm hoping this is recording everything. And, okay, here we go. Come on, mouse. I should probably have a mouse pad. We're going to log out. With any luck, our custom login screen comes up for Grooverlabs. It turned out really nice. Shout out to Tristan. And so I'll have it set up so a Grooverlabs logo bounces around the screen instead of the next logo, and that'll happen after 30 or 45 minutes. But once you log in, you can just click Do Screensaver. So there you have it, an example of how to do a custom screensaver and login. And have a good evening. I'm going to bed. Now, let's see if I can get out. There we go. Get out of the previous here. And we're going to go ahead and shut down our screen capture.